respectful to Judge Cheek.
Okay, well, but Judge Cheek did this. He made their crime less bad against you, and that's good. Now, what did he do to the cops?
I don't know, and I don't really care because I don't ever want to say
that's the problem. Justice is required.
Well,
if he is an agent of justice,
we tried to get justice. We tried to get the surveillance tapes. And
I know. I'm not criticizing your behavior, Josh. I'm not criticizing you or your lawyer.
I'm not sticking up for them. I'm saying he did the best he could do with what he had.
Okay, fine.
And I appreciate.
Fine.
I appreciate that.
At the end of the day, the criminal justice system cannot justify its systemic evil with individual instances of mercy.
I know. But this man did have mercy on me. And
but it doesn't change the fact that as a judge, providing mercy in instances where somebody is subject to injustice and making that injustice slightly less unjust, well, that's not adequate.
No, it wasn't adequate, but it was the best I could get.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, Josh. I'm pleased that you got out of it lightly enough. That's good. I'm not disputing that. That's good.
Oh, no.
It doesn't make it okay that it's fucked up.
I'm totally with you. I agree. The criminal justice system is totally fucked up in this country. All the private prisons and all these judges going to jail now for funneling kids into fucking, for-profit detention centers and in low-level. It costs like $50,000 to $85,000 a year to house an inmate. And these conservatives are like, oh yeah, let's be fiscally conservative, blah 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 blah. But they're putting like tens of millions or tens of thousands and thousands of people in jail for low-level drug offenses, and we're spending like $50,000 to $85,000 a year to keep them housed there when they could be out, catching criminals that are hurting people. Or actually protecting us, maybe once in a while.
Josh, I'm going to say something that Taylor said, and I think is exactly right on the money. A good way to put it. Drug laws are the most massive human rights violation that everybody's cool with.
Yeah. You can go to jail for fucking. You can go to jail for a plant that grows. As soon as if it burns and you inhale the smoke from the burning plant, you're a criminal. Well, maybe not where you live, but
you don't even have to do that. You just have to hold the plant in your hand.
Yeah.
Now, my point is, when I was arrested, I understand the cops need to arrest me because I was in possession of illegal drugs. But then, when they took the illegal drugs from me, they were in possession of illegal drugs. So why didn't the second cop arrest the first cop? Because now he's holding drugs. Mm-hmm. And then when the second cop got the drugs and confiscated from the first cop, why didn't the third cop come and arrest the second cop? Because now he's holding drugs.
And probably there are many. There are undoubtedly many cops who take.
Hold on. I want to go back to Casual INTP's point. This is very, very critical. It is not a stupid argument, Casual, because it is representative and it displays the fact that it is impossible to criminalize possession
of some. Yeah.
No, but they are police officers. They represent the authority.
But is possessing something a crime or not?
If you are not actively hurting someone else or taking their property, you should be alone.
Don't move forward in the argument.
Is cuffing someone?
Casual, step one. Is it a crime to possess that or not?
Well, if the law says so, then yes.
Okay, so now, do we also know that rule of law means applying the law fairly and equally to everybody? Yes or no?
Kantian.
Yes.
Okay, therefore, we can conclude that if possession is illegal for me, it's illegal for you whether you are a cop or not. The fact that you are justifying your possession on the grounds that you are possessing it in the interest of the state does not change the fact that possession is identical. Okay?
That would be true.
Reasoning for possessing it, my reason for possessing marijuana that I give is never an answer to the criminal accusation that I possessed it. So I can't say, but I possessed it for a good reason and get out of the crime. So then why is it the cops can say, but we possessed it for a good reason and get out of the crime?
That would be what you said would be true if the cops were off duty.
Not on duty. Why is it not true when they're on duty?
Is it legal for you to handcuff someone?
I think a police officer, if presented with that opportunity, would automatically come on duty.
Look, here's the thing, Casual.
Just hear me out. Is it legal for you to handcuff someone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Citizens
What?
arrest.
Consensually.
What did you say?
Consensually, yes. But I will answer. I'll walk down this chain right now and answer it for you.
Well,
It is
technically,
true
we
that cops
can-
have a hey, hold on, stop. It is true that cops have a job to do and a legitimate reason to use force, whereas others do not because of the monopoly of use of force of the state.
Yeah.
However, that force is only legitimized when it achieves justice for somebody. To achieve justice for somebody means it's responsive to some sort of rights violation. When you arrested me for marijuana, cops in Oklahoma, you achieved justice for nobody, you stole my property, and you caused me a great deal of harm while achieving no positive benefits whatsoever except to redirect my wealth into the pockets of the state of Oklahoma.
And that's exactly and
That's
that's
different
exactly
from holding the weed.
What?
The answer that you gave is something else.
Right. I explained to you that they don't have a legitimate cause to hold the weed if I don't have a legitimate cause to hold the
How
weed.
is it going to get handled then?
It's
is it
not.
going to
That's the point.
levitate?
There is no legitimate way to steal my property.
exactly.
Casual.
Not
It's theft.
stealing. It's like collecting evidence. It's not stealing.
But I haven't committed a crime. If I have, point to me the individual for whom you're achieving justice.
Isn't having drugs a crime?
No,
But then what is it?
it's an illegality. A crime is actually an action against somebody's interests.
You should
I'm asking what the law says,
Never
not
be
what those
accosted.
I
definitions.
agree it's illegal. I'm saying
Unless
it's not
you-
a crime. The word crime has a real definition. It means something. If we fail to distinguish between crimes and non-crimes on some vector that means something, such as we achieve justice for somebody's rights have been violated, then the word
battery on a police officer.
oppress us.
This is a different issue, Eric. I'm asking you what the law says. Is it a crime or a felony?
I answered it. I said, you're right. It is illegal according to the law. And that's what's so awful because it's not a crime. Things that aren't crimes shouldn't be illegal.
It should not be a crime to decide what to put into your own body.
Not a crime. There's no should involved. Okay? It's
So-
illegal. It's not a crime. The word crime has a specific meaning. It says
you're
you
high-
have violated somebody else's rights.
If you're
Is the
high,
issue here?
bad behavior, and you exhibit bad behavior, and you exhibit a crime, you should be arrested and prosecuted for it. But if you are high, you're possessing drugs,
Josh, let me
not
handle this fucking
dependent
argument.
upon
Josh,
anyone else's
that's not
civil
how-
rights, or
But
That's
Eric-
not where we are in the argument. You are jumping all around the argument chain.
Eric,
Casual.
is the issue here the fact that drug possession shouldn't be a crime, or that since you can't hold it, the cops also can't hold it?
both.
You keep
Both.
jumping
They-
between
they-
those.
They're irrevocably interlinked, Casual. Now,
No.
let me explain why.
Give me a
Because
second.
the cop, hold on, let me
I
explain
have
to
to
you
go. I have to go.
why.
I won't listen. I need to go 1 second, then I'll be back. All right,
Okay.
1 second.
I'll explain to everybody else why then. Now, look, it boils down to this.
If you're not hurting anybody else, or taking-
Josh, will you let me fucking finish?
Sure.
The cops can, in fact, take something from you against your will if it is evidence to be used in the prosecution of an actual crime. Why is that the case? Because your own right to property is forfeit when you violate the rights of another. So the cops are not violating your rights when they're enforcing a crime.
Mhm.
But if you want to say that a crime is identical to illegality, then you delegitimize law, government, and law enforcement in general. Because if we do not define crime as that which achieves justice for one who has their rights violated, then we legitimize any authoritarian application of force, and no longer is the governmental monopoly on use of force legitimate.
I think
So if
I've
we want to live in a civil society and be free from anarchy, we need to define terms properly.
I totally agree, and I think we're in agreement. I think I just explained
I'm
myself
not in
wrong.
agreement. I'm arguing with Casual.
Oh, I think that anything that a person does, as long as you're not violating someone else's body or their property, you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, by and large, I agree.
And that should be the extent of law enforcement. If you are hurting somebody, if you are stealing something from someone, that should be the extent of law enforcement.
Well, it needs to be responsive, not proactive. Okay.
Exactly.
The job of law enforcement is not to prevent crime.
Now,
Drug laws are a crime prevention notion that is fucked up and backwards.
but I do
addressing
agree,
crime
though,
directly.
I do agree though that if you are fucked up and you commit a crime because you are fucked up, you should be punished for your behavior, not for your possession.
Of course.
And
of course.
That's
the whole point.
Yeah, that's
the arguments that people make in favor of criminalizing drugs. All the ones that have any meaningful impact at all make the wrong argument. They say drugs make you more likely to do something bad. But the reason that's the wrong argument is exactly what Josh says, which is I may have any number of reasons for committing a crime. The commission of the crime is the problem, not the reason I did it.
Exactly. If you impede upon someone else's rights, their property, or their body, you should be criminalized. But if you possess drugs and you're not exhibiting bad behavior, and if you're not committing a crime while under the influence of drugs, and if they're able to prove that that's why, which they probably couldn't, truthfully, but as long as you aren't impeding upon someone else's property or their body, you should not be in a police car whatsoever.
When I'm saying casual INTP is this, that if we want to have a just society, a civil society, a free society that actually is derived from the proper understandings and concepts and principles and stuff, then it absolutely is the same whether the cop's on duty or off, because we understand government as a means by which sets of individuals protect their own ability to function as individuals and not be oppressed by the will of the majority. Of course, the will of the minority can't oppress either. So ultimately, we need to have a properly functioning governmental system. We need, most of all, more than anything else, enumerated powers. Now, unfortunately, in the United States, the Supreme Court has chosen to ignore the Constitution time and time again and expand the scope of the federal government far beyond that which it ought to have. And this is a source of endless problems. That's why we have federal drug laws, even though the federal government has no jurisdiction to pass any sort of drug laws. That's not in amongst Section 8 listed enumerated powers for Congress. They cannot do that constitutionally. The New Deal and the 16th Amendment destroyed America, and we are fighting to return our legal system to one derived from principle and logic rather than whim and arbitrary utilitarian justifications that are predictive in nature, and the predictions are always false. They don't factor in unintended consequences. All this shit's very straightforward and obvious.
Let me ask you a question.
The only way to structure society well is to structure it exactly like I say.
Are you going to collect Medicare when you turn 65, 66?
You mean Social Security or what?
Medicare, Social Security, 66 or 65, Medicare, 66.
I mean, I will claim as much Social Security money from the government as I can possibly get. After all, I already know they will have stolen millions of dollars from me. All the money, 33% of your paycheck gets taken from you and saved for your retirement, even though the program won't be solvent in 10 years. And everybody who's paying it now won't get a fucking penny back.
You know what would make it solvent?
They're lying now, and they're a bunch of fucking criminal thieves.
Well, if people that made over $117,000 were taxed on payroll taxes up to the limit, just like the lower class and the middle class are, Social Security and Medicare will be solvent forever. A lot of people don't realize that.
Nope. Because what you don't understand, Josh, is that every fucking dollar taken out of the economy and processed through the government for redistributive purposes loses 25% of its value. That none of these programs ever fucking work. They are crime. Now, look, if I steal more of your money to help the poor, that doesn't make things better. It makes things more fucked up. If we gave every working American back 33% more money, right? You know how much you get right now? Add a third more to that. Now, do you think people in America might be able to take care of their own old people? If every fucking working American had a third more money?
No. See, my issue is that not everyone is responsible as everyone.
That's true.
And
guess what? That doesn't justify them committing crimes against me.
No. We have a slightly different...
Yeah, yours is wrong and mine is right because I parsed through all the fucking arguments.
Well,
I have walked through every fucking argument chain on this, Josh. I am telling you, your liberal redistributionist politics are fucked up, wrong, immoral, and wicked.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm I'm not saying that you're